Bharat or try to be a Vishwaguru in entire world. Why? Why this vision? Because in the past we were already there in the position of Vishwaguru. In the economical point of view, in the 60s, 1600 AD, before the coming of the English, we have contributing 23.3% of GDP to the world's GDP. We are contributing 23.3 to the world's GDP. In the field of economy, in the field of science, in the field of technology, we all have known about our scriptures, about our literatures. Like we have many more things in the literatures, novels like Meghadutam of Kalidasa and our Kumar Sambhavam. There are lots of things. With the medical science, Sushruta and Charaka. In the astronomy, Aryabhatta. In the astrology, there was your Varaha Vinila and many more scholars, philosophers are there who have contributed a lot to our Indian society. Now it is the time to revive that all things. NP 2020 is trying to inject this ancient Indian knowledge system in the curriculum that can implement, that can inject to the minds of the Indian society to be that honor of the past. As Swami Vivekananda said, go back to the Vedas. My point is that we have misinterpreted that Vedas. That's why Swami Dayananda Saraswati has that quotation, let's back to the Vedas. First of all, my first point is that Mahapanishad, chapter 6 and 72 reach has mentioned that Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam.
He himself has qualified UGC JRF back in 1997. A great scholar, a great organizer, a great visionary with a warm heart. I welcome you, sir, to today's this session. Recently we had interaction with him as he came to this college as the honorable member of NARC peer team. That was really a great interaction with him. I welcome you, sir, Professor B.P. Sarachandran, Professor of Economics at Goa Business School, Goa University. He has also with him 100 publications. He has served as the honorable members to different higher educational institutions as the NARC peer team, and he had also been the members of the National Education Policy Technical Committee and the Goa Water Board, contributing to both academic and policy making spheres. I welcome you, sir, to this particular session. Welcome, sir.
Thank you. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Professor Surya Narayan Panda, this is really a great privilege on our part to welcome him and introduce. He is currently the Pro Vice Chancellor, Research at Chitara University, Punjab, with more than 30 years experience. He has guided 20 years. Now, I would like to invite and welcome Dr. Agadut Deveri. This is really a great task on my part to introduce you, sir. He is an eminent academician and researcher. Dr. Deveri is currently working as an assistant professor in the Department of Economics at the Central University of Rajasthan. With a keen interest in microeconomic policies and issues, he has contributed significantly to the field of economics through his insightful research and numerous publications. His work reflects not only a deep understanding of economic theories, but also a commitment to addressing contemporary challenges in our economy. I welcome you, sir, to our college. Though virtually, we are very happy that you have been connected with us. To raise the academic standards of the college. Madam, during your tenure, the college really just followed a few steps towards excellence. I welcome you, madam, to this great session of this national seminar. Welcome you, madam. Now, for a note, I request our chairperson, Professor Ravi to come and give his note of address.
Thank you, ma'am. It's really a great occasion for all of us to be here in the special session of the National Seminar on Advancing Sustainability Development Goal 4 and 5 for VIKSIT BHARAT 2047.
Thank you very much, sir. Professor Panigrami, a very, what I can say, a great teacher, and during his professional career, he gave his leadership to different colleges, and he retired from Nagar College, Nagar. During his time, he worked as the IQAC coordinator, and Nagar College also got B plus during from NAC. Thank you, sir. Now this is the time to listen from our great speakers. So I would like to request our first speaker, Professor Chittaranjan Rai, to deliver his talk. Sir, please.
Thank you, Dr. Mrs. Suman Rohit, Mr. Chairperson, Dr. Panigrahi, the organizers, convener of the program, my esteemed colleague, Professor Tapan Kumar Parekh, distinguished. I'm not sure whether this is a panel discussion or there will be diverse topic, but my fellow discussants, Professor Sarat Chandra, Professor SEM Pandaji, Dr. Abadut, and I have heard a lot about Madam Snehalata Mishra when she was principal of this distinguished college in Rajasthan. So my warm greetings to all of you, and thank you for giving this privilege to be a part of this important deliberation. I hope I am audible to all my. I am very happy to see some students sitting in the audience and local luminaries, academicians, so all are here. So I am from Shillong now, Meghalaya. This is Northeast University. So from this part of the world, so my heartfelt greetings to all of you. In this national seminar, I have seen the themes. Your theme number 7, that was regarding civil society participation. So that actually enthused me because what happens normally in academics, we teach a lot of theories, do some data analysis, especially in economics field, but we miss the connect with the government. Hardly there is any interface between the government and the academia. That is a huge miss, like China, South Korea, where you see universities groom citizens. They increase productivity by building human capital. So that disconnect is worrisome in case of our country and particularly in our state. So I have selected this theme that partnership performance. So when we are talking about sustainable development goals, especially goal 4 and 5, which this seminar has rightly chosen, quality education and gender equality, then for these to achieve these two important goals, what is important? That we have to have a partnership. So who will partner with this endeavor? It is not just government's exercise. So the government, I mean the state, the non-state actors have to play an important role. In non-state actors, which sectors are coming dominantly are civil society organizations and the private sector, that is what we call as public-private partnership. There should be ample space, and that space should be suitably harnessed for this important goal to be achieved. So, with this introduction, and coming to my brief presentation, I'm not sure that 5-6 panelists are there. So, my presentation will not be based on data or any kind of complicated analysis. Rather, I will touch upon some theoretical standards and what can be done actually. So, coming to these two goals, quality education and gender equality, that is goal 4 and 5 out of the 7 sustainable development goals. These two are actually the cornerstone of achieving sustainable development. Without this, it is not at all possible. Why? Because of the following reasons. There are a good number of theories which actually advocate and explain why this is important. We can start with the capability approach, advocated by Professor Omar Bashir. That means education, addresses the 3 important domains: knowledge, skill, and by the way, it enhances, the innovative capacity. Here comes the capacity buildup. So through education, we can do that. Then, if 50% of the population is not equipped with these 3 important things, knowledge, skill, and innovation, then economic development is not possible. Not possible in the sense it can never be inclusive. In order to ensure inclusive growth, then this capability enhancement is a must. So this is the argument of Omar Bashir, and another approach is social capital theory. Social capital theory, argued by foreman, woodman. Their point is that, development needs some kind of sorry. Let me start. So, what is here? We need a network. There will be lack of work participation, labor force participation rate will be drastically low. So, that will hinder economic progress. So, it is not anxiety, it is a necessity. Then, when we come to linking this civil society organizations and harnessing public-private partnership, there are also theoretical backgrounds of this. The theory of a change in development practice argued by Anderson argues that. Then, which is now gaining more importance, that is collaborative governance theory. So, by considering Elias, recent theory 2008, so this is arguing that you must invest, you must spend, you must take care of your education, security, you want to ensure sustainable development for a long run. So, why it is important? Because due to this collaboration, there will be inclusive participation. Multiple stakeholders will come in a synchrony. That is possible if there is collaboration. The decision making will be shared. It is not that the government will make some decision and there will be protest. The government will make a decision and that decision will be ineffective due to lack of support. It should not be like that. So, if the decision making we just share the decision making, then we can ensure equally the state actors and the non-state actors. And in non-state actors, as I said earlier, civil society organizations and the private sector, community organizations, local organizations have a huge role to play. Then, when we talk about our gender responsibility, then here, government is also trying, that is Right to Education Act 2009. Then Prime Minister in 2015 told about Beti Bachao and Beti Padhao. That slogan became a government policy that was, introduced in the state of Haryana, where the child sex ratio is quite adverse. Then now, in 2020, we have national education policy. So all these policies are focusing on inclusive growth, gender just growth, gender responsive education. So that is needed. However, despite all these efforts, there are some gaps. Gaps, there is asymmetry. Education is rising. Educational institutions, especially in private sector, are also institutions are conservative. But that there is rural urban migration. Many people are going to urban areas just to ensure that there is middle education. So, but those who are not in a situation to afford the price of this education led by the private sector, they remain aloof. That rural urban divide, that the rich poor divide is very much vigilant, very much visible in practice. In caste, women also we see that is very important in Odisha context. Scheduled caste, scheduled tribe population, that is huge in Odisha, about 39 to 40%, 22 to 23%. And around 16.5 that is our scheduled caste population. So there also we see there is a divide. Is there, although the government has been taking affirmative action since last several decades, so that is still positive. And gender divide is also there, although that is narrowing. So What is missing? The education initiatives is basically by the government sector and the corporate sector. When I am talking about civil society, it is not simply including this corporate. When I am talking about private participation, that is not actually corporate financing only. So it has a wider ramification, wider meaning. So that is needed. If we can ensure that, then our system will be efficient, inclusive, as well as equitable. So this gives a ground of the argument that we should harness the role of civil society organizations and the space for public-private partnerships. Now coming to the Indian case. In India, we are having some extra advantage that is in the form of demographic. What is that? Simply putting it, that 65% of our population is below the age of 35. I think hardly there is any country which can match the advantage what India is enjoying at present. However, the dividend should be reaped. It is potential. It should be turned to actual. It is possible provided this 5% of our population is well equipped with literacy, accuracy, and some sort of what we say skill. Then only it is possible that the demographic dividend is done. But when we talk about the 65%, the gender divides will also be seen. What is there? If you go back to the 2011 census, you don't have 2021 census was not conducted, all of you know. So if you go back to the latest census that is 2011, then the divide is visible. That our female literacy is just 65.5%, whereas male literacy that was 82%. I tried to get the update data, so it has increased, but still the literacy rate has gender divide in literacy rate. What is more important is female labor force participation. It is just 24%. In India, work participation rate is around 42. There is a difference between labor force participation rate and work participation rate. Labor force participation rate means those who are actually working and willing to work, all are included. But in workforce participation rate, we only count those who are actually working. So in India, it is work participation rate is 42. So labor force participation rate is around 70. It's not 22, 23, labor force participation statistics. But in case of female, the labor force participation is just around 24%. That means women are getting education but not visible in job market as compared to their male counterparts. That is an area of concern. So, who has to think? The education system has to think what is lacking apart from the work environment, what else can be done. So that is true. Dropout rate is higher in case of female. If dropout is there, dropout is a wastage. Because students want admission into institutions, but they missed in between. That means they could not to be educated people, so they missed during the process. So whatever resource was spent, that is wasted, and when they miss this, they will not immediately contribute to the family economy. So there is a gestation period in which they will be acquainted with some jobs. Then this is a concern. So if dropout is at a higher level, then it's okay. That migration is for employment. From education, that is employment. But if it is in the mid-school level, what is really the situation now? So that is worrisome. So having discuss about this context, what is making it important? Like we are having a dream led by our Prime Minister that we want to live in VIKSIT Bharat by 2047. And we need a solution for that. So for that, can we, start our journey by that should that journey be government-led one and private sector, civil society sector, space for that. Why I'm talking about this sector because this sector has experience, expertise, and willingness. There's immediate channel to Bangladesh in the new education policy that is there. Now, let me know what is the problem. Population is now population was 4.5 billion. Population is so that demographic pattern is almost 3 lakhs, 5%. There is a gap in Odisha in 2011. That was you can see in my slide is visible. So it was 8%, but when it was about 82, but when it was 64, little bit lower than the national average, but almost 8%. The divide against you can see the gap is about 7.6 too much in 2011. Now the gap has reduced. You see what is the statistics? Well, it is 84.6%, but it is 69.5%. Is for the estimation by the National Family Health Survey of 2021. Still there is a gap of around 15%. So this is a huge gap. This is the balance. When you see that the achievement of girls in school, either CBSE or in board of secondary education, girls are outperforming boys. Once again, you see the position holders. Girls are there. You see the students in A or universities. Percentage of the girls is higher. In higher education also, I was in Venezuela. Once I saw out of the 26 ranked holders, 24 were girls. So this was not an isolation that in that year that happened. That was not an exception. So almost, I believe that our degree and academicians have experienced that girls are silent. They are outperforming boys. Still, why this gap is there? It is seeming like paradoxical to understand. Then in the job market, this is highly manipulated. So, no, there are issues related to business, issues related to workforce, work environment, that is, there are issues related to child care. Issues are there, marriage, all these things are there. But still, all these things are also applicable to Western countries, including US and European countries. But this stark division is not there. There is little bit difference. But this division is actually used in case of India. So the table explains here, and not loaded my slides with the data. So here you can see the workforce participation rate. Just have an eye on the female workforce participation. Female workforce participation, just have an eye on this. For male, in the rural areas, it is 80% is the participation. For male, it is 80%, whereas for female, it is 47.6. The gender gap is, 32.6. For urban, male labor force participation 75%, for female, it is just 28. I was saying 28% before. This was actually urban female participation, the lowest. And now in northeastern states, here there is a contradiction. But here female labor force participation is higher than male labor force participation. So what is there in our state? This participation is so low. There is a huge gap of 7.6% in urban areas. In total, if you combine different urban together, you will see the gap is still 37.1%. This is Friends, this is labor force participation rate, not workforce. If you analyze the workforce participation rate, that must be significantly lower than these numbers. So we need some actions. So what are the challenges? We have some structural inequalities which are persisting. Structural inequalities means we have to have some system in which different sectors should have an equitable space so that we should have, women education was lacking for a large number of, for a huge period. Because of neglect of this menstrual hygiene, means by the state, lack of support from that point of view, and lack of the tolerance in school. In my time, in the times of my contemporaries, it was a dream to have a toilet in the school. And that was a significant contributor of, dropout of girls from school education. So, don't you believe that here is an area where, private participation can be increased to enhance infrastructure, to enhance facilities? Recently, not long back, in the last 5 to 10 years, government took an initiative, more school officer, and through that, there was, a connect with alumni. And you see the results in institutions. When I was in Qatar, at that time I got the news that the connection through most to Abidjan in Regency Collegiate School was approaching to 1 crore. And government could, finance 2 times or 3 times on that. So government contribution was there. So through that, the institution could modernize itself. So that most school Abidjan, more college Abidjan, these are some of the examples of sources when we try to ensure civil society, stakeholders in the development of institutions. When NGOs are also invited to sit with the government to think about the economic, educational situation of a particular local, and some interventions are needed. When NGOs are formed, that is due to a service mentality, a social upliftment of their fellow citizens. That very motive is the genesis of motivational place. We may find cases in which there are some sort of, cheapening of government model kind of things, but that is not the entire story. Many NGOs are doing excellent work, and local civil society organizations, local artisans, retired people, they have a huge role to play, and wherever they are organized, they are actually doing a fantastic job. So, harnessing the civil society organizations, giving space for public-private partnership, organizing alumni and alumni. So these are the areas, these are the space where we can make our education more productive, more efficient, more inclusive. So these are a few takes of my I know I have a time limitation, I should end. I think that is there. So we can talk about corporate social responsibility. That will be another facet of the story. I'm not going to that, but I think that whatever message I wanted to share, I have already said that there is a huge need, and this is for the betterment of the society, that we should encourage a partnering society, not society in which government will dominate or some private sector will dominate so that many will not get the facility. We need a partnering society in which civil society organizations have a tremendous role, and this has tremendous potentiality to make education gender responsive. And women, when we are talking about civil society participation, then that I may say that must be women-led. That must be women, otherwise we can make a gender. So with these words, I stop here. I thank again the organizers for this wonderful opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir, for your insightful and informative presentations. Now I would like to request Professor Sorry, Vicky sir, to present his talk. Please, sir. We have a question and answer after completion of all the pages.
They will be meant for other session.
This screen is visible to you?
Yes, sir.
It's okay. Can you see the PowerPoint?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Yeah? Is the PPT visible?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Good afternoon to all of you. At the outset, I would like to thank the principal, the accuracy, and the Professor Taban for giving me an opportunity to share some of my thoughts on how we can use SDG Goal 4 to transform India into a developed nation or biggest Bharat. This I am talking in the context of transformative policy which the government has adopted the 2020, that's a new education policy. I would like to specifically focus on the deep effect on the higher education and how we can perform better, and through that we can achieve the rapid economic growth and hence a country as a more prosperous developed nation. Is my voice is clear to you, all of you? It's an audible, sir?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So again, sorry for my sore throat. I've been having some health issues, and that's the reason why. And as far as possible, I'll just make it simpler form. Okay. This is the thing, and we know that SDG goal is education is a more powerful weapon, and we can use to transform the world. Now, in this context, how we can use this SDG goal and how we can align this SDG goal to foster economic growth, and in that process, the country as a developed nation. This is my scheme of presentation. I start with the idea of VIKSIT Bharat and SDG goal and SDG goal 4, and how we can align SDG with the VIKSIT Bharat and some of the strategic interventions we can do in the area of education. Now, when we come to the idea of VIKSIT Bharat, the Prime Minister of the country stated that at 100 years of India's independence in 2047, India should transform into a developed nation. And that's a very challenging task, because a country to develop a developed nation, the size of the economy should grow. Somewhere around $30 trillion per capita income, somewhere $18,000, removal of poverty, unemployment, so many issues. So for that, a country has to grow faster. The question is whether we can achieve that. And these are the SDG goals 4 and the 7 targets. And what is the current educational system in the country? Our performance is reasonably well. I can show another slide. Here it says that 14.9 lakh total schools, higher secondary schools were like 45,452, 95 lakh school teachers, 1,400 universities. So this is a kind of educational infrastructure which is present in the country right now. And this is the higher education system the country is having. And these are the regulators, the institutional system, various linkages with the various stakeholders. And the government has introduced the ADP policy in the year 2020, and which I'll come back to it subsequently. And so when it comes to see, these are the kind of educational system which is currently present. Okay. Now the professor, the area speaker elaborately discussed how we can use education to leverage higher economic growth. There's a very clear link between improving the educational standard and economic growth. Because for economic growth, we need skill force, which comes from education, we need innovation, that will come from education, entrepreneurship. And another important is that demographic difference, the country is having 65% of the population, young population. As many countries in the world, across the world, are facing the problem of population aging, India is a country which is going to provide human resources, and it is very important to use this human resources as Professor said it earlier here. This is something available, we have to optimize it. So education is a mechanism through which you can make this population skillful, reliable, so that they can not only contribute in the economic development of the country, also they can contribute in the economic development of the rest of the world. It has a multiplier effect in terms of economic transformation, social development, and for environmental sustainability and achieving SDG goals. Again, this is very, very important and also provides global and corporate leadership. Now, one of the kind of strategic interventions we can do in the area of higher education at different age groups, different sets of policy interventions will be required. So for the foundational level learning at the primary level, at the early level, we need programs, okay, which provide the competency, educational, foundational literacy and numeracy, so that the foundational requirements are met. At the 8 to 18 age group level, that is at the secondary, higher secondary level, the education has to be multidisciplinary, flexible curriculum, and vocationalization of education, and providing the skill set which are required to the students. And when it comes to higher education, and it is not a traditional the education which is helping the students. Rather, we have to make an outcome-based education, a student-centric education, a holistic and multidisciplinary education, with a lot of emphasis on skilling and vocationalization, as well as we have to provide the kind of education system which is flexible and rapidly changing to the requirement of the industry and the stakeholders, and that kind of education system only able to provide. So the SDG 4.5, 4.3, the innovation, and 4.4, 4.6, adaptive workforce. These are all the issues which are primarily looked into the NEP policy, particularly pertaining to the higher education. So little bit on the NEP higher education policy. These are some of the important initiatives which are taken at the higher education level. The education has made a kind of a holistic education, and now every learning that the student can be creditized, so no learning will go waste, and any kind of a learning done by the students, when it is properly evaluated by the competent body, it can be creditized, and that credit can be used to acquire various kind of a degree, diploma, so that education can be like a bank in that kind of a ABC system, which is very useful for the students. Our separation was there earlier in terms of specialization, and super specialization is removed. Now, the lot of emphasis are given to holistic and multidisciplinary. So the curriculum has to be multidisciplinary in nature. If an educational institution is unitary, it has to transform into kind of a multidisciplinary institution, and affiliation system is going, and universities can be either research based or education universities, whereas all other institutions can solely transform into degree granting institutions. Multiplicity except for flexibility, professional development for making the student and teachers competent, and another emphasis is given on quality and innovation, and the education document is talking a lot of emphasis on technology and using the technology to leverage, okay, particularly to increase the loss and enrollment ratio from current level to 50%. So all kinds of online courses, blended learning, everything is told, and regulation. This is another important thing. Somebody is working in an industry and learning some processes through work experience, and that can be used to get educational qualification, and they can present again for evaluation before the competent body. So through revision of prior learning skill can be assigned, and that can be shown. So these are some of the path-breaking policies through national education policy. The government has introduced so technology, okay, like so many initiatives the government has taken. I'm not talking about that. And there are some success stories which show that how education can be used for rapid economic development or achieving standard of living. Kerala is the case, the state which achieved 100% literacy. Now they are going for 100% financial literacy and use of technology that can be replicated to many other states in the country. And also the case of Rajasthan, where how digital transformation, okay, can be used, okay, to innovative approaches to bringing the rural population into the mainstream to even e-governance and technology portals. So finally, how we can use education for transforming the country into a developed nation. There are three phases I'm talking about. Phases. First phase is the foundational level. So what are the basic requirements which are required for further leveraging can be addressed, like, okay, creating teacher capacity, infrastructure, okay, other physical infrastructure, investment and education, like that. The second stage, okay, can be, okay, enhancing the quality and innovation through multidisciplinary education, skill integration, innovation, and benchmarking, and so that the economy can move from current 3.7 towards the 10 trillion economy. And the last stage, during the last decade of 2040, 50 million, and that is the stage we have to go in for much more intensive drive, in the sense that, okay, we can use, how much we can use education, our education, export our education in terms of offering quality degrees and certificates to the other parts of the world, okay, and then doing cutting edge research and contributing in terms of technology and other things, innovation, lifelong learning, all those things can be attended. So finance is a critical issue without which we cannot do this. Currently, our spending on education is not much, and it has to be increased to at least 6%. So public alone may not be sufficient. So we have to use all forms of financing of education, including public, private, okay, the foreign and the CSR contribution as well as from others. Okay, so this process we can improve the education indicators in terms of our foundational literacy, secondary completion, gross enrollment ratio, also economic indicators to improve per capita income, number of patents filed by Indians, competitiveness in terms of education, innovation, and technology adoption. Okay, so that we can use education. Some of the challenges, there are challenges it is always a question between quality of education and quantity of education. Being a country which was less is developing country, initial emphasis was on quantity, now we are moving towards giving more emphasis on quality. There are regional disparities which are there, there are certain pockets, states which are educationally background, we have to make special emphasis, aspirational districts of the central government, okay, we have to do more targeted intervention to bring them into the higher educational indicators and like society, private public coordination and stakeholder participation as well as the civic society, their contribution is very and the cultural change, okay, in terms of higher education is also very much required. Okay, and finally, some of the best practices we can adopt. These are some of the companies which have used finest of educational models to use education for economic development. In that model we have and the Singapore, Korea, and Estonia. Okay, so some of the best practices we can adapt it so that we can so every policy stakeholders have to substantially contribute. Okay, the policy makers have to adapt policies which are relevant, give the educators who are actually implementing the education policy, and they also have to embrace continuous learning and improvement and use of technology and going for a holistic development, and universities and organization as a responsible role to play. Okay, and finally, when we say 2047 the India becomes a VIKSIT BHARAT, we should aspire that every child receives world-class education regardless of the background, okay, come to the rural or urban or various social strata of the society, they should get world-class education. Innovation and creativity has to be constantly emphasized and adopted, without which, okay, the change is constant and we have to do constantly innovate and skill sets which are very important and that has to be emphasized, and we as a nation with a huge demography, we should think of exporting education to the rest of the world in the immediate future. In doing so, we have to do in a equitable manner that every strata of the society is brought into the they have to get their fruits of education, and we have to do it in a manner sustainable development manner so that it is not harming the environment, and in that process we can think of a country which is prosperous, a country which is equitable, a country which is adopting the path of sustainable development, and for that we can leverage and use the SDG goal 4, which is educational development for transforming the country into a developed nation. And I will stop here. I know that my presentation was I don't know whether I was able to communicate you well. And again, thank you for the opportunity given to interact with you if you have any issues, questions. I'm happy to take. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir, for the presentation. Sir, I am very actually added to it, sir, because this time, witness you spare special time with us. So we are very thankful to you, sir. Now, I would like to request Dr. Abdul Derek, sir, to present the history. Please, sir.
Hello, am I audible?
Yes. Yes, sir, audible.
Hello?
Yes, sir, audible.
Yeah. Okay, thank you so much for inviting me. I would thank my principal and my teacher Tapan Kumar sir for inviting me for this beautiful seminar on advancing sustainable goal 4 and 5 for VIKSIT. Also, already my distinguished from other universities, they have given enough information about addressing changing 4 and 5 for VIKSIT. So what I'm going to show you or discuss in briefly what we have done and what are the challenges we have in the future. That is what I'm going to anyway summarize, so I will not take much time because here also there is any I'm extremely sorry for that because it's raining heavily in Sundar University of Rajasthan. So if there is any issue, please let me. So, sustainable development goals. So, as we all know, we have around 17 goals. So, which is about reducing poverty, reducing inequality, and then we are talking about net zero emission, then innovation, research and development. So, all these 17 goals, out of these, the sustainable development goal 45 appears to be the most important. What I feel, because if we focus more on sustainable development goal 4 and 5, then we will achieve other goals at a much faster pace. So, what sustainable development goal is talking about quality education, whereas sustainable development goal 5 is talking about gender equality. So, if we look at this thing, then it is very important. It's a major foundation for a developed nation. So, we are aiming to become a developed nation by 2047, or what we call VIKSIT BHARAT, and we closely aligning with the ideas of our independence. So if we focus more on 4 and 5, then BHARAT can become a developed nation even before that also. Because already Professor Pitharanjan Nayak and other professors have already pointed more education, qualification will ensure better human capital. Better human capital will ensure better research and development, better innovation. So all these things will eventually contribute to a sound economic growth. Because we need how big is size or our economic growth has to be developed at a faster rate so that we can become a developed nation by 2047 without focusing on education and women empowerment. It's not possible, and it is not possible to achieve other sustainable development goals. So that is things some views, personal views I would like to share. So if we look at sustainable development goal 4, already I have explained why it doesn't building human capital. And so you will again have a chain reaction on other different sectors of our economy, whether it's agriculture or education, technology, service, other sector, it will promote better quality education, and definitely it will enhance all the our economy. And eventually you can have a better economic growth. So on the hand, gender equality, if we look at, it will empower women. If we provide opportunity to women in each and every sector opportunity, then it will ensure, it will multiply the mental outcome. It is not just a matter of social justice. Gender equality is very much essential for faster our pace of development. So we look at, again, the nation cannot progress if half of its population is left behind. So that is a very important thing we have to keep in our mind. And if we look at these two goals, they are interconnected. Because education empowers women and empower women ensure better educational outcome for the next generation. So these two goals are very much essential for a developed nation. So we have seen in case of other developed nations why they are a developed nation, we are not. And what can we do to become a developed nation? So that is what, in this case, the 4 and 5, which is the theme of this seminar, that is what I found it very interesting and very makes sense when we are organizing a seminar on this issue. So if we look at the achievement so far on the Sustainable Development Goal 4, then the literacy rate as already pointed out by it has increased. In general, it has increased to 8.9% if we look at the period 2023-2024. But if we look at the women literacy rate, it was again 8.9%. Again, we have to look at the literacy of women. Then, national education policy, which now we are even implementing in our institute also. What I found interesting about is the outcome-based education. So far, the education system is more like it has been in the continent. So now most of the students are reading and enrolling the program only for the sake of certificate, degree. They are getting a degree also, but they are being preparing for competitive exam and they are extra courses to develop their skill, and after that they are getting job. What if we improve all those skills, or if we revise our curriculum such a way that we can incorporate all the skills in our syllabus, in our curriculum itself, so that after graduating from the course or from the program, from the institution, then they can immediately get into industry or any other job. They don't have to take an extra things to develop a skill. And also they can take if they want to get into a position. But the current situation is like that we are educated unemployment at an alarming rate. And that is a very concerning thing for education itself and even for our economy also. Even at higher education, for example, at the Central University or even state universities, maybe major higher education system, they are struggling to fill their states. If we look at the recent cases also, then most of the eminent institutions, they are not able to fill even 50% of the seats. If we talk about masters, state and all. So why people are not willing, why students are not willing to take, are not willing to learn? There is no job. Even after education, even after all this degree, certificate, if you are not getting a job, then why spend much more money on education? That is the question. So in this case, the new education, national education policy.
Slides are not moving, sir.
Yes, I am not moving, that is why it's not moving.
Okay.
Continue. So that is why, in this case, national education policy, in this case, is trying to incorporate holistic, multidisciplinary and skill-based education, so that students should develop the necessary school in the university itself, in the college itself, in the program itself. So that after the graduation, they can immediately get into the industry for job, and that will guarantee. So if we look at other achievements, then gross enrollment ratio in higher education has increased a bit, but that has not increased significantly. So we have to focus more on increasing the enrollment, especially at primary as well as secondary level. And also the government has taken a lot of initiative, for example, developing digital learning plan, Diksha, Swayam, ELDPIA, NPTEL, to provide many courses to develop skill among those people who are not afford education in universities or colleges due to financial constraints. So it's also a really good shift from the government side to digital learning. So if you look at the challenges, dropout rates remain very high in secondary school, and as I've already put out, my universities are struggling to fill up the states. Now there's a severe gap in rural and gender gap when it comes to education, access to digital learning, access to internet, access to so many other aspects. Not just there is no equitable. There is no equality in rural and urban. Urban, they are having more access to better quality education, better infrastructure, better internet. Whereas rural areas, they are still, in a way, they are being ignored in a way. Then, if you look at the learning outcomes, or the jobs, there is just people are getting jobs after education. If you look at the ASCR report, and there is other things, for example, this digital divide between urban and rural areas are already talked. So if we look at September 5, that 4, then in this case, 5 is only women. Gender equality, what we have achieved so far. So now we consider 26% of the enrollment in higher education. Again, we can increase it to even about 50%, 60%, and even close to 80%. Nowadays, women are signing more than men. So if you look at even the educational outcome also, if you look at the marks and everything, then women are doing far better than men, or girls are doing far better than boys. In that case, if we focus more on women education also here, then that will ensure better educational outcome for sure, and also better leadership, better, research and development. Now, if we look at the grassroots level situation of women, around 1.4 million elected positions in Panchayati Raj institutions. That is a big improvement, I have to say. So in this case, we look participating at the grassroots level. And we look at the scheme that we have Beti Bachao and Beti Padhao for girls' education. Then Sukanya Samriddhi Yojana for single child. Then now government has also recently introduced to promote LPG, and clean energy at rural women who are under PTL. And now the recent abolition of triple talaq. So all these have been strengthened women's rights in our India, but whether these things are enough, I don't think so. We have to do more. Even with all the criminal laws we have to talk about, the prevention of sexual harassment, it is still there, but again, still the crime against women are rising at an alarming rate, whether you talk about urban or whether you talk about rural area. So again, it's already previous, it's already put out. So challenges women never post participation is low. There is a significant gender pay gap. Women are being paid very low to male. That is a very not the same work. So that is a big issue we have. Then we have safety and gender-based violence in India, even in whether it's our state or any other, in India in general. So women are weak. And again, on a daily basis, we are seeing news about Delhi and so many places. And so there are so many gender-based violence in rural areas, whether it's related to down, whether it's related to so many other related issues, maybe child rearing and all these things. So many issues are. So these things are not being reported. So whatever we see in the news and all, these are the gender-based violence these are rising. But it is even more because these are not being reported. So now, in this case, because of this, if there is gender-based violence and if women are not safe, then we'll be definitely under the representation of women everywhere. Everywhere. Not just STEM, the science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, corporate leadership, they are not feeling safe. So why do we go to the war? We have to ensure the safety of women. If they are not safe, then we cannot ensure gender equality. And sadly, I would say, but we need to seriously look into this act. Then if we look at the kit, again already I have pointed out NEP 20 which is in the implementation stage right now. And a lot of other higher education institutions, Madanta University, IITs and IIM, all are implementing NEP package. Because we need to revise the entire curriculum so that we can ensure employability of our students. Otherwise, there is no quality education and it will not help. It will not help in increasing our economic growth, hence we cannot become a national by 2047, unfortunately. So if we look at the skill development program, then a lot of skill programs are also being undertaken by the government through Under-Skilled India Mission to enhance the skill among younger population. We, as already has pointed, that we have the largest younger population. So this is it's a very thing for us. We have to harness this power. If we use this younger population in a better way, then definitely we can become a superpower even before 2047. So then investment in infrastructure, training and research and innovation is also increasing, but not at a constant pace. So if we look at gender equality, then the reservation for women in Parliament and training station letters that we were passed in 2023, that is a very good thing. So now we have the equal reservation for women in Parliament and state legislature also. Then there are several groups being funded under National Rural Mission to empower rural women, which is again a very good initiative from the government side. Then for to promote women entrepreneurship, women SEM and startup. Then now at some national level also we have gender budgeting, then specific budgeting, address the need of male and female. So which is again a very good thing that we are doing something better to promote gender equality. So even when it comes to state public finances. Then we come to the roadmap to 2047. Then what else we need to do? So we need to spend more on public education, invest more in schools, colleges, teacher training and research. So if you look at the education expenditure in the context of India, it is about 4 to 4.5% of GDP. So if you compare with other developed nations, for example, the US and other nations, they are much lower. And if you look at the number of population, 1.4 billion people. We have 1.4 billion people there, but 0.5% of GDP is spending on education. That is not enough. We have to spend on education, more on training, more on digital infrastructure. We are talking about digital India, we are talking about the VIKSIT BHARAT 47. So that is very much essential. So in case, even the NAP is recommending 6% of our GDP to fund on education. But I think it should be even more. It should be even 7 or 8% or maybe 10% of our GDP, so that we can have better skill education, we can focus more, we can improve the gender equality situation in our economy. And then eventually we can definitely become the so-called what we call visual. So then there should be equal access to technology and education for sure. Then apart from all this, we must prepare our youth, especially women, not just women, we have to have our youth as a whole for the future. That we all know AI is all over everywhere, it's taking over everything. So we have to make sure we put our curriculum, our education should be future-proof. We have to design in a certain way. Then all these, whether male or female, can face all these future challenges in the job market and they can face all this on age and other future problems. Then again, safety and legal reform, we must ensure safety of women public spaces and workplaces, whether it's, we should avoid this, or we should eliminate this harassment of women, or all this security of women is very essential, as I already discussed. And collaborative governance. So already, I think my previous professors have already spoken about it. It is not just one party will take care of everything. It's not that only government of India will do everything and we can reach BHARAT by 2047. There must be a collaborative governance. There must be a collaborative effort from the government, private sector, as well as civil society. Then only we can ensure gender equality, then only we can ensure women's security, then only we can have a better quality of education, then only we can become a BHARAT by 2047. If there is no collaborative governance, then forget about the VIKSIT BHARAT now. It will take even longer. So in that case, collaborative governance is very much essential. Then last I would like to conclude. So this sustainable development goal 4 and 5 are not isolated goals, but again, as I already found, it's a combination of development. And by ensuring education norms and gender equality, definitely we can use our important our full democratic dividend, or we can unleash our democratic potential. So that will advance our journey to become a VIKSIT BHARAT. So it is not just about fulfilling the international commitment, it is about shaping the destiny of VIKSIT BHARAT by 2047. So with this, again, I would like to use the quote by Mandela. Education is the most powerful weapon which you can use it for. And the second quote, which I found is very much essential for everyone, every stakeholder, as thermometer to the progress of the nation is its statement of its own. That is very essential. Unfortunately, in case of India, if we look at, we are worshipping Durga, Saraswati, we have come what is it? We are doing full devotion, we are worshipping all of them. So when it comes to home, the women are not even being treated happily. Then if that is the case, then we achieve gender equality. If there is no safety of women, if the women are not equal opportunity everywhere, whether it's home or whether it's everywhere, then we cannot progress as a nation. And we have economic growth in life. Maybe we become a developed nation, but whether they are, moving to a right direction or a different scheme. So all these things, I think we have to keep in our mind when we are talking about quality education and gender equality. And this I would like to stop.
Thank you so much for the class. Now I would like to request Dr. Nalata Madam, I actually for Level College, to present her view on the program. Please, ma'am.
Esteemed Chair and the Secretary organizing the seminar advancing sustainable development for 4 and 5 of VIKSIT Bharat and all the staff members of college and my dear students. And today is a very exciting day for me because I am part of this seminar, and this seminar is based on 2 goals, that is 4 and 5. And we know these goals are meant for a better world, not for the person, not for the district, not for the state, not for the country, but for total world, our common future. So this common future, this sustainable future is possible if every person is a participant of these goals. So these 2 goals, these are the 4 and 5, that is the quality education and gender equality. These 2 goals are very basic, as other speakers told about it. And in context of VIKSIT Bharat, we must know that VIKSIT Bharat is based on economic growth. Economic growth is fruitless unless and otherwise we have social and environmental growth, social and environmental development. So these 3 are very important. And in respect of sustainable development goal 4, we know I must emphasize that this is 10 targets and 11 indicators. In target 4 and 4.5, eliminating discrimination, organized learning, that is eliminating discrimination. This is also based on gender equality. And another target is 4.6, that is addressing about universal literacy and numeracy. That is also very, very important. When we go to the grassroots level, we don't say it in our view, we see the literacy, numeracy that is told in the national level, that is told in the state level, is very encouraging. But not, this is only a dream. If when we go to the grassroots level, we know the gap between the data and actual practice. So, in actual practice, numeracy literacy is very, very poor in grassroots level. For which QAT is introduced in college as a SEC course in 4th semester, that is called the numeracy and literacy. So this must be very emphasized in grassroots level. And gender equality is the basic aid, we say 2 bits of recycle. One is 50% male, one is another is 50% female. So both should run together and both should be cooperative. Not only run together, but also be cooperative for total peace and prosperity. So the development of a girl is a dream, is far away from us, unless and otherwise parents are concerned about it. So our men should have proper respect for women, proper responsibility for women. Women should have also proper responsibility, proper respect for men, so that both can run the world together. So for this seminar organized by NL College Kharsagbada is very interesting, and these 2 goals are the base of foundation of cornerstone of total sustainable development goals. And we are very unhappy that the sustainable development goals are going far from us, because 17 goals are not totally emphasized criticized worldwide. Because the climate change, all are totally interdependent. And this is going far from us. We are developing. And we must be very happy to know that our country, India, has ranked 99 in the Sustainable Development Goals. It is on half within 100. Within 100, it has gone as 99. And our neighboring countries are better than us. Our rank is somewhat satisfactory, but it is not as low as satisfactory as for our neighboring countries. Nepal, Bhutan, Sri Lanka, they have more, they have far better rank than us. So we should work more for this, and colleges and schools are the best for education. We should emphasize for better education, better skill for our students, and it must create a better future of our country, of our state, of our district. We should, as a NM College Hasura is a premier institution of our district, we should emphasize on our students, how our students can get better education so that they can build a better district, better state, so that our future must be progressive. We will not be far from sustainable development goals for peace, prosperity of the nation, of the world, so that we must have a better future, better present. With this, I end my words. Many thanks to
I'm sorry to inform that due to some unavoidable circumstances, Professor SN Conductor could not join us, but he has shared video. So right now I'm going to say, I supplied the video.
And the poet writes the poem. The daily going out, and coming in, always being hurried. Possibly you must have seen your mothers and sisters at home, how hurried they are, early from the morning dawn till dusk, by dusk, even midnight, for the family members, for the husband, for the children. They are sincerely and passionately working for their children to make them satisfied. Have you ever pitied upon them? Have you ever really understood their suffering? Have you really ever thought of them? Always being hurried. And the poet groups for a comparison, like, there are two lines, again dot. It means the poet is imagining, with whom should I compare the women who are working from dawn till dusk for others, sacrifices her life, consumes her entire life in sacrificing for others. And the word comes to his mind, cattle. So the point is like this: first stanza, the daily going out and coming in, always being hurried, like dot, cattle. And the last stanza, I am not going the intermediary lines. The last stanza is, oh, but look, there is a water pot growing on her head. The water pot which was very small when she is a child, learning to practice the future possibilities of carrying the burdens on her head, it gradually grows in size. It means the responsibilities on the head of the woman is not limited, unlimited, unbound. The society, the patriarchal society, again I say, it is a patriarchal politics. Somehow, it has so arranged the society that the women are bound to work. Education, all these things we have created, ladder. But basically, they are workers at home. Good luck. There is a changing in the society, in our mindset. Possibly a good time is coming. But even today, we must, as I was telling you during the discourse, the mindset must change. Our attitude towards women must change. Economics, return, per capita, growth, things will continue. Women are also producing, they have become productive, they are trying, they are in the defense, they are contributing as good as men. But have we sincerely, with the changing scenario of the women, their contribution in the society, have we really changed our attitude towards women? Please ask this question to you, and if yes, we can dream of a VIKSIT BHARAT. If no, there can be no VIKSIT BHARAT. However educated we may be, education is another side, but education is of no use unless you practice it in your daily life. If it is not grounded to reality. शिक्षा केवल मानसिकतारे परिवर्तन जदि आनि न पारिला, खाली शिक्षा, पुथिगत शिक्षा, however intelligent and degrees you might have collected. Nonsense. So my dear audience and dear students, don't feel disheartened. A good time is coming for you. But accordingly, you have to prepare. Automatically, it will not came. It will not come. You should mentally prepare yourself, physically prepare yourself, because people around you are ready to trample over you, to exploit you, as and when time favors them, they will exploit you. So protect yourself. Self-protection is more required. Don't expect protection from outside. You must protect yourself from within. So internal fiber, internal capacity to fight the problems of life and struggle in the strides of life. The struggles of life. It is the women who must really preserve and protect themselves, not with the mercy of the men. Men at the same time must realize its responsibility. The women whose sacrifices are all for the mankind, particularly the male, I say, gender task. The male must realize and understand his own responsibility for the woman too. Then only we can dream of a beautiful society. Thank you. କହୁଥିଲେ ପଚାରିକି ବୋଲଥିଲେ ହଁ ନାଇଁ କି ବଢିଆ ଥିଲା
Just sir, when you speak sir, that are we imparting the quality education? Just sir, are we imparting quality education in the classroom? So when I listen this part, it's just I think somebody slapped the lecture class. Why you mean to say sir? So that what I am repeating. BHARAT cannot fly without with one wing. So when we are in class, so we are in the class with the students. If the students are not ready to listen, not asking the questions, not want to clear their doubts,
that please unveil your hearts to the students. The students will be attracted to know you through your connection in the hearts. ତାଙ୍କର ବି ହୃଦୟ ଅଛି ଆଉ ଆପଣଙ୍କର ବି ଅଛି ଯେନ୍ଟାକି ମିଳିପାରେ ଆହୁରି ଆଗକେ ନେଇଯିବେ ହେଲା ଗାନ୍ଧୀୟ ଭାଷାରେ soul force. ଗାନ୍ଧୀୟ ଭାଷାରେ ହେଟା ହେଲା କୋଟ soul force, SOUL. Have a soul and he or he has a soul. if we are connected in terms of souls, possibly he will come to the class. And you will ask his doubts, and possibly you will explain his doubts to the best of your ability. हमें समझते बहुत बुद्धिमान हुए हैं जहाँ तक जहाँ बुद्धि से तो नहीं पाना. So let us be humble and submissive to explain whatever we have. ଆଉ ଗୋଟେ କଥା ମୁଁ କହିଦେଲି I will conclude ସେଟା ବୁଦ୍ଧିମାନ ନାହିଁ. କାଲି ଆପଣଙ୍କ କଥାରେ ମୁଁ କାଲି କହିବି ବହୁତ ଭୁଲି ଯାଉଥିଲି ମୋ ମାଇଣ୍ଡ ହଟି ଯାଉଥିଲା. You have explained in your paper what you have used the word in your paper VIKSIT Bharat. VIKSIT Bharat, in your opinion, is a dream where it must be a fair India. The word is fair, F-A-I-R. In your opinion, मतलब बहुत कुछ पता है word. रात को भावली भी. The word is fair India. Do you see a fair India? Of everywhere, unfairness in and out. Though our present Prime Minister has tried his best to instill the ideas and beauty of fairness, Swachh Bharat, it's a very good idea, but Swachhata, physical Swachhata, is meaningless. It is quite easy. But the purification within, the internal Swachhata from the heart, purification of the soul is very, very difficult. Unless you want. Once you desire, it is possible. You can be. Okay? Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir, for enlightening us with your vast knowledge. Now that you have reached at the end of this session, I will.
बहुत धन्यवाद तपन भाई के बहुत धन्यवाद जे गतकाली हम जहाँ कन्फरेन्स देखिथिलु गतकाली मोर बहुत आइवर दिशा में जे कोनोसी कन्फरेन्स कि सेमिनार से प्रकार प्रकृति नहीं हुआ इट मस्ट बी ओपन एंड हार्टफुल যদি সেই প্রকার হেনি পারলা সেটা অবশ্যই সমস্ত প্রমাণ করবি আজ এত সুন্দর অমরেশ বাবু বন্ধু স্টুডেন্টস টিচার্স এভরিবডি পার্টিসিপেটেড টু देयर हार्ट्स कन्टेंट पूरा हृदय खुली এবং मैं भी बहुत खुशी टू हैव कंडक्टेड द सेमिनार तो এই प्रकार एंड इट इज ओनली बिकॉज़ ऑफ टुडे it is only because of you. So many thanks on behalf of the chair. I sincerely thank Tapan and coordinate the people who are in the team for allowing us such a beautiful seminar to be conducted on this morning. Many thanks.
So we are going to distribute certificate and mementos to the paper presenter. Now I am going to call each paper presenter by their name. Please come to the stage and receive certificate and memento from our chairperson. Thank you. Amresh Panda.
Video good name.
अपन पढ़ले जाऊँ ऊपर के पढ़ले जाऊँ शेयर के शेयर पढ़ले
Dr. Yadav Devi Prasad Behra. Please come to the stage. Vishnu Topo.
बोलने लगे ना किसी ऑनलाइन है ये रोमेन रिप्रेजेंटेशन को तेरे जीवन में कहाँ है हम कुछ देख रहे हैं फिल्म का जमाना
डॉक्टर मुरारी प्रसाद पाणिग्राही। मिस्टर हिमांशु शेखर महाकुल। डॉक्टर प्रिया लक्ष्मी पन्ना। As we have forwarded to give memento to one of our paper presenter in technical session 2.2, Mr. Rocky Biswal. I would like to request him to come to the stage and receive his memento. So I would like.
He's from Canada. Thank you, sir. ସମସ୍ତଙ୍କୁ ଅଶେଷ ଅଶେଷ ଧନ୍ୟବାଦ। ଆଜି ବିକଶିତ ଭାରତ ଉପରେ ଆୟୋଜିତ ହୋଇଥିବା 2 ଦିନିଆ କର୍ମଶାଳାରେ ଉପସ୍ଥିତ ଥିବା ସମସ୍ତଙ୍କୁ ଡାଏସରେ ଉପସ୍ଥିତ ଥିବା ସମସ୍ତ ସଭାପତି ତଥା ଅନ୍ୟ କର୍ମକର୍ତ୍ତା ବୃନ୍ଦ ଏବଂ ସାମ୍ନାରେ ମଞ୍ଚ ସାମ୍ନାରେ ଥିବା ସମସ୍ତଙ୍କୁ ଅଶେଷ ଅଶେଷ ଧନ୍ୟବାଦ ଜ୍ଞାପନ କରୁଛି ଏବଂ ଆଶା କରୁଛି ଯେ ଡେଫିନେଟଲି we are reaching a good conclusion today ଏବଂ ଆମେ ଭାବୁଛି ଯେ ଗୋଟେ ଡେଫିନେଟଲି ଗୋଟେ ପ୍ରୋସିଡିଂ ଏ ସେମିନାର ଯୋଉ ନିଷ୍କର୍ଷ ବାହାରିବ ଡେଫିନେଟଲି ହାୟର ଏଜୁକେସନ ଡିପାର୍ଟମେଣ୍ଟକୁ ଦେବା ଗୋଟେ କଲେକ୍ଟରକୁ ଦେବା ଯେମିତିକି ଆମେ ୟୁନିଭର୍ସିଟି ଲାଇଫ ସାଇନ୍ସ ଡିପାର୍ଟମେଣ୍ଟ ଏଭ୍ରି ଇୟର ଆମେ ଆଲୁମିନି ଆସୋସିଏସନରୁ କରୁ ଏବଂ ସେମିନାରଟା ପ୍ରୋସିଡିଂଟାକୁ ଦେଉ। ତ ଆପଣମାନଙ୍କୁ ବି ଗୋଟେ ରିକ୍ୱେଷ୍ଟ ଯେ ଆମ ଗୋଟେ ଆଲୁମିନି ଆସୋସିଏସନକୁ ଗୋଟେ ପ୍ରୋସିଡିଂ ଦେବେ ଏଇଟା ଏବଂ ଗୋଟେ ପ୍ରୋସିଡିଂ କଲେକ୍ଟରକୁ ବି ଯାଉ ଆଉ ଗୋଟେ ପ୍ରୋସିଡିଂ ହାୟର ଏଜୁକେସନ ଡିପାର୍ଟମେଣ୍ଟକୁ ଯାଉ। ଥ୍ୟାଙ୍କ୍ସ ଟୁ ଅଲ୍ ବହୁତ ବହୁତ ଧନ୍ୟବାଦ।
I would like to request Saroj Gaur sir to distribute certificates of participation to Dr. Biswajit Khamani sir and Madam.
टीम एजेंसी जंग एजेंसी गोटे सेसन बाकी रहा आम क्लोजिंग बेनिफिट सेसन जो प्रस्तुति आवश्यक समस्त को अनुरोध करी जो मैंने दायित्व अच्छा नेक्स्ट सेसन फाइनाल सेसन समस्त व्यवस्था करेंगे समस्त लंच व्यवस्था है गेस्ट जो डाक समस्त कन्फर्मेशन देखते आसवे समस्त को पुणी अनुरोध कर लास्ट सेसन सब आम जो मैंने स्टाफ अच्छा निश्चित भाव में कारण कलेक्टर फर्स्ट टाइम आसमेले समस्ते अनुमान नहीं लास्ट पर्यटन समस्ते रहे अन्य जो जो दायित्व अच्छे निजे निजे दायित्व नियंतु अतिथि मैंने जो मैंने आसते समस्त खाइबार व्यवस्था कराई जो मैंने आम अध्यापक अध्यापिका वॉलंटियर्स अच्छा समस्त अनुरोध कर अतिथि मान